Hello friends, welcome to all. It's me yours Babu. NASA recently presented to the public domain for the first photos taken from the James Webb Space Telescope. These are truly very amazing and unprecedented photos which tell us very interesting things about the universe. One of these photos gives us the oldest glimpse of the universe. We can see 13 billion years into the past. In another, we discovered an alien exoplanet where water, H2O, has been found. Come, let us try to understand these new discoveries in today's video. The James Webb Space Telescope is the largest and most powerful space science telescope ever built. US President Joe Biden told in the press meet as every image is a new discovery and each will get humanity a view of the universe that we never seen before. The Webb is able to look at the information of the first stars and the first galaxies. The Webb is tremendously existing light from other worlds, orbiting stars far beyond our own. It's outstanding me in many ways. Friends, this telescope cost about $10 million. It took NASA 25 years to work out its design and development. And the most interestingly, the spot where this telescope is located currently. It is operating at a temperature of minus 266.65 degrees Celsius. It is so cold that it is almost at the absolute zero temperature of minus 273 degrees Celsius, and the temperature cannot fall beyond that. It is only a few degrees warmer. To maintain this temperature, the James Webb Space Telescope does not orbit around the Earth like the Hubble Space Telescope. Rather, it orbits around the Sun. About 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, there is a point known as L2 point. There, it is always in the Earth's shadows in a way that it can safely orbit the Sun. As you see in this video, to block out the rest of sunlight, a sun shield has been attached behind it. It's nearly as big as a tennis court. Do you know what is the focal length of this telescope? Those of you who use DSLR cameras as a hobby would know that the lens of those cameras usually has a focal length, somewhere around 24 mm, 35 mm or 50 mm. The focal length of the James Webb Space Telescope is more than 2,500 times of it. 131.4 in meters, not in mm. Its main mirror weight around 705 kg. If you want to know how this telescope was built and how it works, let's get straight to the point and talk about the photos taken by this telescope. Before this, let me remind you that this is our electromagnetic spectrum. Different EM waves have different wavelengths. In it, there is a tiny spectrum of visible light. The light we can see with our naked eyes. The rainbow colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. This wavelength ranges from 0.38 to 0.7 micrometer. Wavelengths higher than red are known as infrared, and the wavelength on which James Webb Space technology can take picture in the range of 0.6 to 28 micrometers. There is a small overlap with visible light, but mainly this telescope works with the infrared portion. Its advantage, you can look through the gases and clouds because of the larger wavelength of the infrared light. The longer the wavelength, the easier it is to go through object. Such radio waves, whose wavelength is measured in kilometers, we can listen to them through the radio. Those waves can travel through our homes and walls. Two infrared cameras are mounted on this telescope. The near-infrared camera, NIRCam, to capture the shorter infrared wavelengths, and the mid-infrared instrument, MIRICam, to capture the longer infrared wavelengths. Depending on the camera used by the telescope, the photos vary. Look at this photo. This photo, taken by the NIRCam, truly breathtaking. It went viral on social media when the photos are released by the NASA. But the same photos was taken by the MIRICam look like the dust clouds which were visible don't show up much on the MIRICam because the wavelengths captured by the MIRICam is longer. So it is easy for it to pass through objects, enabling us to look through the clouds. You may ask now, what is the thing in the photo? What are we looking at? The answer is, we are seeing the death of the stars. That's correct. We can see the stars dying. There are two stars in this photo orbiting around each other. The brightest star of the two is at the early stage of its life, and the dimmer star is dying. While dying over the last thousands of years, the star has been releasing clouds of gases and dust. The clouds of the gases and dust is known as planetary nebula. And because of these two stars are orbiting each other, the cloud keeps getting swished around. Similar to how you mix sugar in water. Because of the gravitational pull of both stars, this is the shape of the cloud. It is interesting to note that in the NIRCam photo, you can see only one star and you can see the cloud clearly, but in the MIRCam photo, the cloud is quite muted and you can clearly see the two stars. As I explained, because of the longer wavelength, we can see the center of the dense cloud. If this is the first time you are hearing about the star dying, shocking is it? I would like to tell you that similar to the human cycle of humans as childhood, teenage, adulthood, old age and then death. Similarly, stars have a life cycle too. Our sun is a star as well. It is quite young now. About 5 million years later, our sun will become a red giant. After it became a red giant, its too will go through the same stages and these stars are going through in this photo. It will become a planetary nebula, after which it will be a white dwarf and then the end. Normally, red giants are bigger in the size than an average star. When our star turns into the red giant, it will swallow the planets of Venus and Mercury. And Earth will no longer having living conditions. But do not worry, humans have 5 billion years to discover some technology which can push back Earth's orbit. But that's for later. There is no use of talking about it now. Let's talk about the rest of the photos. The first photo released by NASA was this one. It is perhaps the most historic photo too. This photo gives you a glimpse from 13 billion years ago. After seeing this photo, American President Joe Biden,
light from other worlds were born. History of the universe.
In this photo, we can basically see a galaxy of cluster SMACH0703. The galaxies closer to our camera have a high gravitation force such that they are distorting the light coming behind them. It creates a magnifying glasses of sorts. This phenomena has been named as gravitational lensing. With the help, we can see object behind it. It is not a photo which can simply clicked by the telescope. Similar to how you point to your camera. Tap a button and take a picture. It's not so. It took 12.5 hours to take this photo. Actually, the telescope had to take several different images at different wavelengths and later combined them, and we are now seeing this combined photo. In it, the galaxies that appear redder in color as faster from us. While we are discussing the distance and look at the next photo, this has been named Stephan Quintet. It is a cluster of 5 galaxies. The prefix quin is used for the number 5, such as quad is used for 4. This quintet is more of a quartet because the leftmost galaxy among them are 40 million light years away from us, and the other 4 galaxies are about 290 million light years away. As you can see, this photo of the leftmost galaxy looks more HD if you zoom into this photo, while the other 4 galaxies look quite blue. These 4 galaxies are close to each other that the dust and the stars present in them have started interacting with each other. We can see the effect of the gravitational forces on one another. For the scientists, this is immensely interesting to see. The scientists want to know what happens when galaxies get so close to one another. Next is the most beautiful photo till now. In it, we can see the birth of the star. After seeing the death of the star, we can now witness the birth of the star. The mountain range kind of these things that you see are named as cosmic cliffs by scientists. This is again nebula. Nebula means a bright area formed by the clouds of dust and gases. You can think of it as a big shiny cloud. This specific nebula is named as Carnea Nebula. If you go back to the life cycle of a star, you will see that the star is born in the states of stellar nebula. In this photo, we can see the birth of the stars. The red dots in this photo are basically growing infant stars, and you can see this from both NIRICAM and MIRICAM. Now, let's come to our most interesting photo. It is not even a photo, but this has piqued the curiosity of scientists the most. It is a spectrographic data of the planet WASB 96b. This planet is an exoplanet 1150 light years away from us. Exoplanet is a planet that lies outside our solar system. Apart from these two cameras, the James Webb Telescope is equipped with NIRIS, stands for a Near Infrared Imager, and slitless spectrograph back-to-graph. Spectrograph is an instrument that can measure the intensity of various wavelengths of light. For 6.5 hours, the NIRIS measured the light coming from this planet, and the result of the measurement was this light curve. This data plotted on this graph tells us that there is a water on this planet, H2O. Additionally, there is some fog and clouds as well. You might wonder, how can we determine whether a planet has water or not simply by measuring light? Now you will think that by measuring light, even though we not have seen its photo. The answer to this is very simple. Friends, as I told in the beginning of the video, each color has a distinct wavelength of light and the colorful world that we see around us. It's all an illusion created wavelength. For example, why do we see trees, plant and leaves green in color? Because chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is unique because it observes red and blue color wavelengths, and the wavelength which it cannot observe, that's the green color, is what we can see. Similarly, why does the water present in the sea appear blue in color to us? Because water has the property that the rest of the wavelengths has red, yellow, orange color. Water absorbs them, and since it cannot observe the wavelength of blue color present in light, hence we can see blue color. Now, the same logic can be applied in reverse also. If we pass light through a leaf, then the wavelength of the red and blue color will be blocked in the light that comes out from the outside. If we measure it through a spectrograph and make a chart, a certain pattern will be formed there, and from that we can conclude that if this pattern is found somewhere else in something, and that the thing is most likely like a leaf. Or is it just a leaf? Now, the light was coming from the WASP 96b exoplanet. This telescope captured it. A graph was made in spectrograph, and it was seen that which wavelength of light are being blocked and how much light is being blocked. Scientists note that if this wavelength is so blocked, then it means that the light that passed through these molecules is coming. Therefore, the graph you are seeing here has wavelengths of light on its x-axis, and the amount of light blocked is on the y-axis. The scientists knew that if there is so much light blocked at this wavelength, then it means it was the evidence of H2O. The same thing happened here. Hence, we are able to conclude that water is present on this exoplanet. Now, if you are happy thinking that water is present on it, it means that there can be life of this planet. Aliens can be found. Then, do not be so happy, because this planet is not habitable. Scientists have discovered other facts about the planets. The first thing we have found out is how close is this planet to its star? What is its size? With those parameters, he has estimated that the temperature here is more than 530 degrees Celsius. So, the chance of finding aliens on this planet are almost negligible. But in the next few months, the James Webb Space Telescope will analyze another planet. It will be pointed towards a new planet. To take photos of what is actually being described as one of the most potentially habitable planets. According to the theoretical calculations, it had been estimated that in our Milky Way, in our galaxy, there are about 300 million potential habitable planets. Such planets where humans can survive. Life can be found here, but practically what we have observed is only around 5,000 exoplanets inside our Milky Way galaxy. I am not saying potentially habitable ones. In total, we have confirmed about 5,000 exoplanets, but there are many of these which are potentially habitable. In November 2018, researchers found that all the exoplanets we have seen so far, among them there is a planet in which there is a highest chance that it was not habitable and life can be found there, which is more similar to Earth. This planet was named TRAPPIST-1e. Scientists said that if we have to search for habitability, then this is the most suitable candidate. This exoplanet is just 40 light years away from us. Just what is it anyway? This 40 light years is 380 trillion kilometers. But relatively speaking, 40 light years is not very far compared to the other exoplanets. The star around which this planet orbits is not like Sun. Instead, it is an ultra-cool dwarf star named as TRAPPIST-1. It is quite cooler than our Sun. That's why it is known as ultra-cool. But the distance between the star and this planet is lesser than the distance between Earth and the Sun. The temperature on this planet remains in the habitable zone. On top of it, the dimensions of this planet is quite similar to Earth. Its radius is 91% of Earth radius. Its total mass is 77% of Earth mass. Density is 1 or 2% of the Earth density, and the gravity on the surface is 93% of the Earth gravity. It has also been confirmed that there is a surface of solid rocks on this planet. The temperature is so cool on this planet that liquid water can exist on it, but not so cold that it would freeze. Over the next few months, the James Webb Space Telescope will analyze the exoplanet in detail. It will check whether its atmosphere contains carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor or not. If certain combination of these gases is detected, it will help us to conclude that there might be life on that planet. Let's wait for the future discoveries made by this telescope. But this is for sure. The scientists believe that if any exoplanet has to sustain life, three main things should be present there: liquid, water, a solid surface, and an atmosphere where a certain combination of these gases is present. I hope this video was an informative as always. Let's meet in next video. Until then, it's time to leave. Yours, Babu. Thank you very much.